cauliflower-looking thing, cerebellum. All these shallow valleys all over the place on your brain, sulcuses. All the deep valleys are fissures. Okay, this is your longitudinal fissure, that's your transverse fissure. This sulcus that goes across from temporal to temporal, that's a central sulcus. No other animal has it but us. In front of the central sulcus, you have the pre-central gyrus. Behind the central sulcus is the post-central gyrus. Post-central, just like on the spinal cord, everything comes in the dorsal, leaves ventral. Your posterior one, that would be strictly sensory. Your pre-central, strictly motor. Cool? The swollen area, that's the pons. Just below the pons is the medulla oblongata. What's below that?
Spinal cord.
Spinal cord. What are these?
Olfactory bulbs.
Olfactory bulbs. They lay right into cribriform plate. Remember the cribriform plate with all the foramina that goes into the nasal cavity? Amazing how that works. Cool. And tracts always bring the senses, the impulses into the brain. So these would be olfactory tracts. This X here, the anterior portion is optic nerve. Posterior portion, optic tract. Right where they cross, optic chiasma. Cool? Some of you need to know the mammillary glands. Okay? You know a guy named that. He thought they looked like breasts. Cool? Inside, most of the stuff we need to know is inside this coliseum here. It's all the stuff inside. This is the corpus callosum. In the corpus callosum, we're going to start with the ventricles. Ventricles are just spaces. Cerebral spinal fluid is made in the cerebrum, goes into the lateral ventricle. You have two lateral ventricles, one on each side. From there, it's going to go to the third ventricle. It's going to go through this aqueduct to the fourth ventricle, which is the watering pot, to the arbor vitae, the tree of life. Okay? To get from the third to the fourth, it has to go through this aqueduct, just like a waterway's an aqueduct. This aqueduct's in your brain. Cerebral aqueduct. Cool. Now your diencephalon. See this bird's head here with the beak and the head and a couple of feathers back there? The head portion is the thalamus. The beak is the hypothalamus. We don't care about the bottom one. But the top one here is the pineal gland. So if you take the pineal gland, the thalamus, and the hypothalamus, that makes up diencephalon.
What?
Diencephalon.
What three things? Sorry.
Thalamus, hypothalamus, pineal.
Gotcha.
Okay? This area here, you see these two little hills? You could actually see it better on this one. Superior, inferior colliculi. Colliculi means little hills. Some classes need it, some don't. But if you, there's two on this side, and there's two on this side. Quad, four of them. Corpora quadremina. If you circle the corpora quadremina, go over the cerebral aqueduct, here's where all the tracts are coming up from your spinal cord, right there. That's your midbrain. Okay? Your brain stem consists of the midbrain, the pons, and the medulla oblongata. Now, anything that you can see on an edge could also be asked on the inside. What would this be?
Is that your pituitary?
Charisma.
Is that your pituitary gland?
No, that's your optic chiasma.
Optic chiasma. Look on this side. Anything on the edge, if they're pointing to it, check. Because they could do the pons here, they could do the medulla oblongata here. Cool? We're done.
Do you know where the